Today we're going to get into some programming questions for a trainer that we have she's going to have one of her first online calls. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about the online training. In the past, we've gone through case examples. We'll continue to do those tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I'll go through one. We have a guy in Florida. I'm not sure if he's going to hop on tonight, but he just picked up his first couple clients at Crunch. And so he needed some help. And we also have recently just had someone submit a question on Patreon about a torn labrum. So I'm going to reach out to the prehab guys. I'll get some info on that one. And that's exactly what we're here for with these programming. So if you are an online intern, just make sure any questions that you have with clients that you have or how you can optimize a program, that's the purpose of these calls. So today, Chandler, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the situation you have, and then we're going to go through payment options and a plan of attack for your call. Hold on. Hey, unmute. Okay.
There she is. Okay, so yeah, I just put on my story, who's interested in, I said I'm taking on, 5 serious individuals who are committed into getting the best shape of their life. And I put like the little question thing because I don't have like the apply for to like a site. And yeah, 2 people reached out. The one guy I told you about, he's like, oh, how much do you charge? And I just said, and then he never replied back to me. I was like, oh, I'm $300 for training and nutrition, but then no response. But then this guy, yeah, he like reached out and sent like he said like ready, because I put type ready if you want to, and then he just sent me like this whole paragraph saying, oh, I'm interested about potentially becoming your client. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
So that's what we're gonna get into now. I've given her different pointers throughout the months and years, and it is an unfortunate thing with girls because you just have a lot of pervy guys out there, and you gotta have to do your research first off to see if it's actually a potential client, or if is it a guy who's just, what you guys say today, sliding into your DMs trying to get an opportunity to chat with you more. So I've told the story before. Julia, she had a client, a potential client, same thing, and the guy said he was interested to work with her with nutrition, and so then he linked us up, and the guy just didn't care at all. He told me, he's like, I was doing it just to talk to her. So if you kind of do a little research on the person, if they have a private account and if it's very vague, then you can just ask some questions back. But if you get kind of a unique or not just bad vibes, just throw the number out there right away. And then a lot of times you'll just see if they're truly serious or not. And from what you sent me, this guy, he's actually interested. So he's a Navy, he's retired Navy. Or what was the story?
No, it just said Navy vet, and like his profile's on private, but I do a little bit of creeping, so I typed in like on Google, and it said he's like a LinkedIn, but I don't want to look at it because it'll say that I looked. So I think.
Yeah, so that's great. So now the intent with the when you put stuff out there is to get them on the phone. And so you should have a plan of attack. And the plan of attack is going to be, what are you going to present to them? Now, when you hop on the phone, you don't have to have like a waiver or anything like that. And it's a interesting time it's not interesting because online. So you don't, having him sign something, I've bought over endless amount of programs, and I've never signed any type of waiver from anyone. So if it deters someone from signing up with you, which it may. So the number one thing you want to do is get him on the phone and just start asking him open-ended questions. So you want to learn more about what he's doing, what his current programming is. You want to learn about injuries. You don't have to have a questionnaire for him to fill out. You can just ask this open-ended. If you want to do it on Zoom, you can. I think that people appreciate it, but at the same time, it's a little more intimate. So maybe the first call is you just hop on for 5 or 10 minutes. That's the whole point of the interactions with the DM. So he wants to hop on a call. I think he says tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. So you guys will get on the call, and then you just set the expectations. We're going to talk more about your goals. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll go over payment options, and then we'll go from there. And so do you currently have any type of payment ideas that you're going through or what you'd like to charge?
Oh, yeah, I mean, in my head, I was like, oh, I don't know, like 30 a month, because I honestly like didn't know. But then you suggested like 300, and I was like,
I would give him
Samurai.
I
What?
would give him two options. And so you don't go over these options until you learn more about what he's trying to do. So if you ask the opening questions, talk to me about your New Year's resolutions. What are you planning to achieve? What have you done in the past? What has worked? What hasn't worked? What type of workouts do you enjoy? What do you have
Yeah.
access to? I want to learn more about what he has access to in Florida. And so from here, you're just asking open-ended questions, thinking about what that program is going to look like. Because essentially, he's going to tell you information like, I really like to, I have stuff at home. I don't feel really comfortable going to the gym, but I'll go there once a week if you think that's good. So I'd like to do maybe one day at the gym, 2 days at home, and then maybe I can go to a track or something of a cardio day. So you're just gathering all this data and you're taking really good notes. And then you're going to present them with a plan. And the plan is going to be essentially less service to more service. And so what's his name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. All right. So Sebastian, you're going to go over what he wants. So let's just go through some hypotheticals. How many days a week do you think he wants to work out?
4.
Okay. And what does he have access to?
At weights, just that he has him, like he just bought himself.
And weights at home, what weights does he have?
So he has like a 25 and a 45-pound set of dumbbells.
Okay, so he's kind of restricted. That might be some things you can encourage him to buy. I would like to, with all my clients, I like to get before and after photos. So I want to see where you're at now. And that can just be whatever you're comfortable with. If you want to do it with your shirt on, that's all right. But when we do monitor your progress, I like it to be the same outfit every time. And so I would suggest that we get some bands and maybe month to month we start getting, we kind of build our own little at-home gym. And I think it's always great to plant seeds that you plan on working with him for a long time. This isn't just going to be a 1 month thing. So let's just hypothetically say that he pays you low end $100. And by the end of the year, why not have 20 clients who are paying you $1,000 online? Sorry, $100 online, which would be $2,000. How much money are you making right now online?
None.
No, so that would be a realistic goal to pick up 1 to 2 clients per month. And it's really neat to see when you implement the strategies from Danny, you put them into your story and then voila. How many followers do you have?
2,800.
Okay, so if you've been posting due to what people, Danny's telling you to do more so, and you got 2, 3 people who were inquire. Now, if you were to comment more, follow more, get engaged with your type of client more, that 3 per week could easily go to 10 per week. When I first started our online for our NASM, we would get, I think the first month we had 10 sales, which was $490. Like that's pretty cool. It's money I wasn't making before. This month already, today is the 18th, and we have 69 sales that we have sold for the month at $49. And we're projected to do about 120. And we're also doing a tiered or a funnel into the online. So we've brought that to about $6,000 to $8,000 a month. So it's really neat to see that growth. So you should start thinking about how, okay, I want to get a realistic 25 clients, of which 15 are doing my low tier, 10 are doing my high tier. And these numbers are things that you're going to fine tune. But I think where I see the biggest flaws with online training, it's not very personal. It's a program for a month and that's it. I don't like that. I think it should be a lot more engaging, because especially if you're a great trainer, which you are, and you provide that service and you check in with them, maybe it's just a daily text, but it could be at least a weekly follow up. The more that you are engaged and you put into helping your clients, the better results you're going to get. The better results you're going to get, the more referrals you're going to get, but then you're going to help build your brand even more. So I would simply have two options. I'm just going off of 100 and 300. You can have a $50 one if you wanted to, and a $250 one. Just don't have it two extremes. And if you have three of them, like something like this, 200 versus 300, then the person can get kind of like, well, I don't know about the 200. I kind of like that one, but I'm thinking 100, but 100, 300. So don't give them too many options. Just give them two. And it can
What about
be
200 and 300? Or no, maybe just.
I would have a lower end option. So if you were to do 200 as your low end one, then have a high end of a $500 one. So that's where there's a little bit of a range right there. And then, your eyes kind of got big, like $500. Like, oh my God, you can add so much value. So it's the service that you're going to provide. Because what if you learn from Sebastian, that he worked with a TRX trainer in Equinox, and he was used to paying $175 4 times a week, and now you're like, oh shit, I'm giving him $300 a month. Why not get 500?
Should I just try the 500? I mean, why not?
No, but you want to go in there with a plan, and you want to present a plan that's best for him, and you don't want to just throw random numbers out there. And Brandon says 200, 300, 500. You could do that. You can have a couple different options. I'm just going to suggest 100 to 300 for now, because I know how you work, and the more options that you have, you get overwhelmed. And then you're going to go back and forth between 200, 300, 500. I know how you work, and I think that just giving them two options, so you can choose the numbers that you like, but just give them two options. And option one is going to be a weekly plan that you design for him. You're going to send him those weekly workouts.
When you're making somebody, like, because it's like when I brought like Brett Contreras this thing, it's like he just gave me one thing and that was it. Like, that's what I was thinking. Like, it was just 100, and like that, like you could ask questions, but it was like not like a weekly check-ins or anything like that. So that's what I was like.
When did you buy that?
I don't know, a couple of years ago. I know now he has his like coaches, but
it's not a knock to Brett, but I know Brett personally, and he's not the most personal dude. He doesn't give service. He'll be the first one to tell you that. And so what if he would have reached out every week, once every month or 3 months, he does a quick little shout out to his online people and he tags you. He could have potentially still been working with you. Are you still working with him right now?
no.
So if he would have given that service 2 years ago, I think a great trainer can still maintain that progress. So that could have been a $2,500 additional income that he could have been getting by checking in more instead of just sending out a month program. This is the beautiful thing about the fitness industry. I don't want you guys to think like, oh, you have to do a week. No, try a month, try a week. You need to check and balance all of this stuff. And I have found that the fitness industry lacks the service. And so if you want to be different and you provide that service by charging $300 to $500, it's not that expensive because you are checking in and you're giving that service. So if you have a plan in his mind, you get all that data. Okay, so here what we can do, Sebastian, I can design you weekly programs, and that's all you get. You get to check in with me once a week. You send me one video. You have like little boxes that he has. That's $100. $300 per month is going to include nutritional consultation, which we'll do a food log for 3 consecutive days. I want you to take photos of all your food. I typically like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because that's going to get me to see what you do on the weekends as well as during the week. And then you get one Instagram live or Zoom workout, or add something else. So he's basically looking at the bare minimum. He gets his weekly workouts. He does that versus $300 per month. He gets the weekly workouts. On top of that, he will get nutritional information, maybe a macro breakdown, and then one workout per month. So maybe you wanted to have the tiers a little separate of 100 to I think 100 to 300 is fine because you don't have a client yet. And then you can work your way up to the other ones. If you want it, again, I just know how you work, so don't overwhelm yourself. But if you wanted to throw,
I'd only do 2.
Okay. So here's how it's going to work for you. I think you should be a little loose with these numbers. And this is what's hard for trainers is the confidence comes from doing this, but having this stuff on like in front of you. So you're like, okay, I need my 100 to 300 because it makes it easier for me and I'm not going to be as anxious. I would just suggest going in there with two options. Don't have numbers yet. And then you present the plan to him. The more data that you get, do you know what he does for his job?
Well, I said on LinkedIn that he was like the director of like engineering.
For his position within the Navy?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't like click. It just said like director of engineering.
So
I
it's
think
fun.
it said that's where he lived, Florida. So I'm assuming
So
that.
this is the fun part about doing research. Okay, so do you know the rankings for military? So I know a lot about military because my pops in the military. I would do some research and find out if he was enlisted or if he was an officer. You have an E1, E2, E3, E4, and that kind of gives you a rank of how much he makes. My dad was pretty high up in the military. He was like an O5, so he was like he was not that far from a general. It was always cool walking around on base with him. People would have to ask, "Buy your leave, sir," and I'd be walking with my dad, and you got this guy with all these cool stuff on his shoulder. He'd say, "Yeah." Basically, they'd ask if they could walk by him, and I'd always be, "Dad, no, don't let him walk by. Don't let him do it." And sometimes he would, he would say, "No, you can't." And so because he was freaking high up, so learn about the Navy and exactly just the variety of stuff. And so when you learn more about it, if he's like an 04, 05, he's making 5-6 grand a month, and he can easily afford 300, $500 a month. So it's not like you're cheating people. And this is what's I think really important is there's people out there that are charging $500 to $1,000 per month, and they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to train. They're going to make it off of you're going to do 30 seconds of burpees followed by 30 seconds of jumps. No, I would say go in there with two numbers, have them separate with like a lower end one and a moderately higher one. And then you present those two on the phone with them and you just ask them, which one would you prefer? That's it. And then the most important thing, I know it's hard for you, but you got to be quiet. So Sebastian, from what we just discussed, your goals are A, B, C, and D. You wanted to work out X amount of times per week. This is the equipment that you have. So you're going over everything he told you. I have two options for you. Option one, lay it out. Option two, lay it out. Which one would you prefer? And that's it. And then you let him decide. If he said 100 was way too expensive, you learn like, okay, so what were you thinking about? What was in your budget? And then if he says, $30 or $40, okay, great. Well, I would be more than happy to send you a week program, but then there's not going to be interaction. I'm not going to look at your form. So I can do that. And it's like, then you can meet his needs. But I'm not going to go above and beyond for a price that isn't going to make it worth my time. So what are some things that are going through your mind right now?
Yeah, I guess if he just says, "Oh, that's so expensive," but I mean, it's not, because like I said, I'll just give him, a low number. I mean, literally the worst thing that can happen is he says no, and I say, "Okay, well, what were you thinking?" If he'll be like 30, 40, be like, "Okay, great, we can do that, but you have to send me, pictures so you have to like post online your transformation, right?" Or
yeah, instead of how your mind automatically went to he's going to say no, get excited when he does say no, because then you're going to have a conversation with him about a solution that you can provide. Do you think that he can get into the best shape of his life by himself? The answer is no, because he wouldn't be reaching out to you if he could. It doesn't matter that he was in the military. Don't think of him. I know a lot of folk that have gone to the military and they put on weight. Your boyfriend David Goggins, he was a fat ass in the military, and he's the first one to say it. He put on, I think he had up to like 300 pounds in the military, because you can go to work, you eat a bunch, it's very easy to do. So you know more than this guy. Now the only thing that you're gonna have to come up with is what type of program you're gonna design for. So if he wants to train 3 times a week, what type of program are you gonna design for?
full body.
What if he wants to do 4 times a week?
I mean, you could still do full body, but more emphasis on what he's like trying to develop. But also, if he has minimal amount of equipment, I mean, it's not gonna be like you could be doing so much unless he gets bands. But even then, it's still full body, like push ups, pull ups.
So what if he wants to do 5 days a week?
Hey, you could do up a split.
Yeah. So here's a plan, and this is what I encourage all of you guys to do, especially as a newer trainer. As a newer trainer, this is a program designed for Chandler a while back. If you start designing hypothetical programs. If you look at your night, I don't care if you're Jose and it's 7:30 in New York. Jordan, where are you from?
I'm from Virginia.
Okay, so it's 7:30 over there as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you look at designing one program a day over the course of a month, you're going to have 30 hypothetical programs that you could deliver to someone. And so fast forward to February 18th, we're a couple days after Valentine's Day. And if Chandler were to design 30 programs and you're getting better at hopping on these phone calls and meeting with people, the amount of energy that you have to put into a program does not take very long at all. You meet with a girl and she wants to train 6 times a week. Here's your program. You got a legs, upper push, legs, upper pull, legs. And then on your 6-1 is full body. So then you just tailor it to what they have equipment wise. So if this is an at-home workout and they've been training for 3 or 4 months, maybe you want to do jumps on this first day. We can't do a back squat, we do goblets instead. She doesn't have a trap bar, so you do Bulgarians. Reverse hyper, she can't do that, so you do bridges, and then you end off on reverse Nordics. You have the vernacular for the exercise selection. You're just going to swap out those exercises, but you design this, and so then when you go in there, you have a hinge day, you have a squat day, you have a unilateral day. And so when this guy, and you go into your program, look, can you see down at the bottom? You got a 40-year-old who's overweight. Let's pretend like that's Sebastian. Boom. How long does this take you to send to him? So then you highlight this, and then you personalize it for him. So you go in there, he doesn't have a step up. That's okay. We can do lunges if you feel like it's appropriate. You do wall push-ups, you do planks. That's your first circuit for 3 rounds. You add the specific weights. It's not like you just take it and send it off, but the shell is there. That's what's really important as a new trainer, is to develop the systems. You do that now where it literally will take 2 or 3 minutes per week. You hop on a call with them. Hey, Sebastian, how's it going? And you kind of have this, relationship with them. Maybe you tag him in your story. You post a photo of him, his workouts, how we did it with one of our online girls. She was doing some push-ups. She needs some help. Put that in your story. Hey guys, here's Sebastian. He's one of my online clients. He had a question about his push-up. I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to show you what he was doing. Then I'm going to show you how to do it right. So what you're doing is you're projecting to your followers, 2,800, how many people you have, that you're helping people. And then now you're going to have someone who else is going to reach out and say, oh my God, I didn't know that's how you're supposed to do push-ups. I would love to work with you, but I live in Virginia. That's all right. This is online. Let's hop on a call. Let's go over your goals real quick. Then you can realistically be getting on 10 calls a week, Chandler, easily, and closing 5 of them.
But now for like his workouts, now, like obviously he'd be extending, weekly workouts, and, he could adjust, to what he likes, dislikes, we'll just go over all that, like any feedback that he has. But like for workouts, like would I just send him to him weekly, or do you just give him like a month program?
It's on you. With my people, I have a group of 5 right now that I'm doing my no days off. I'm doing it daily with them. And I haven't done this before. And this is kind of fun for me. It's a new challenge because I would typically do every week. You can do every week, but because
I guess what he prefers too, right? I mean,
it is. Some people will like to see the whole week, but let's take, for example, one of my girls who I'm working with on the no days off challenge. She sent me a message on Saturday. She was super down, not down, but she got the shot for the vaccine, and she was just kind of tired, and she kind of running like a little fever. I'm like, dude, no, you're not working out today. I know it's a no day off challenge, but if you feel okay, go for a little walk, but you don't have to do this workout that I designed for you. That's not the purpose of this. That's a unique situation. So I have found that when it comes to a program, if you give it to them for the month, it's like, okay, I got 12 workouts to do. I may do this one, I may not do it. What's going to motivate them? So the more that you get engaged, especially because, as you saw with Brett, as I've seen numerous times the programs that I get, it's that they send you the month program. They don't check in with you. You can reach out. People are thinking like, oh, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to send them any questions. I know they're busy. So they're not going to do the work. So I find more success week to week. That's just me though.
Yeah.
So your call is tomorrow. I want you to, these were just hypothetical numbers that I presented. I want you to come up with something where you feel that it would be fair and worth your value. Remember, you've been a trainer for over 7 years. You have the credentials. You've gone through instructor training. You would be next in line if we needed someone to teach at one of our spots. You have that. You just have a little insecurity because it's not something you've done online. So you're going to reach out to them, try to get at least 10 people this month who you can get on a call with. This was number one. So then you learn, you gather that data. And worst case scenario, he doesn't sign up. Worst case scenario, that's all right. In a couple of days, you send him a free workout. Hey, Sebastian, I know you didn't want to go through the program. You can't afford it right now. No biggie. Happy Wednesday. I wanted to send you a workout of the day. Do this, tag me in my story. Let me know what you think. And then maybe you send him one every week just to keep him engaged. And then maybe a month from now, he reaches out and says, oh, I have money now. I can do it. The average trainer is going to look at Sebastian as a transaction. Present him a plan. He says no, fuck him. Who cares? That's not a successful trainer. A great.
But either way, I mean, I know there always some. It's just, I think the only thing that I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous about was just the money. But either way, I know like he would be able to afford something. Like, even if it was $20, like I'd be like, okay, that's still a win. You know, like I don't care. I would make him a program for that. That's okay.
You need to have. Okay, let me tell you a story about Chad Waterbury. Okay, Chad's one of the top strength coaches and physical therapists in the world. You know how much he charges per month for a program?
Yeah, you said like 500.
No, per month, Chandler.
Oh, probably like 5,000.
$5,000 if you want to work with Chad. He constantly has 5 people he's working with. If you were to say, hey, Chad, can you do a program for me for $500? He would literally laugh at you and say, no way in hell. Would you do it for $2,500? Not even close. And so you need to understand you aren't a beginning trainer. $20, that's kind of chump change. Yeah. And so don't lower your standard. I know you want to help people. That's great, but don't do it for pennies on the dollar. And if you see, maybe he's a talker. He has as Jared likes to say, he's a mouthpiece on him, and he can just go over, I can get you people. I can refer people to you. Come on, just give me a deal and I'll work with you. I'll say, all right, here's bottom line, Sebastian, here's what I'm willing to do. I'll do $50. And what you're going to get for this $50, I'm going to send you the programs. And at the end of the month, if you don't give me at least 3 referrals, then I'm not going to keep on working with you. Yeah, I mean, I spend well over $100 a month on coffee. Brandon says I spend over $100 a month on coffee. So it's like, see, Sarah too. So $100 isn't much. And so you got to tackle these demons that you have that are telling you like, oh, it's going to be too much. Present 2 options and then just learn to go with what he's presenting. What would you guys like to everyone here, we got a group of 11 tonight. What would you like to hypothetically be charging for an online program?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe like 100 is like way too low.
We got Amanda, Jordan, Greg, Jose, 250. Brandon says.
Most likely $300
okay.
or $500 because you're gonna spend your time. You're gonna give advices of nutrition. You're gonna basically spend like half hour, an hour maybe, like tracking his progress. And that's time that you're investing in the client.
Mm-hmm. And don't settle for 100 to 300. A big thing right now is Zoom workouts. So why not give him, here's what I'm going to do with my $300 plan. You get 1 Zoom workout. And if you like those Zoom workouts, we can do them more. They're $50 a session. So you go in there thinking like, oh, 100 to 300, but he really likes the Zoom workouts, which aren't hard. He puts his phone right there. You watch them. Jimmy does them all the time. You sit on your computer, you watch his form. And then you tell him, oh, hey, Sebastian, stop doing that. Chin up, butt down. You $50. And all of a sudden you get 3 weeks, you take his $300 program. On top of that, you start doing one-on-ones. You went from 300 to almost $1,000. What are some other prices that you guys were thinking of when it comes to online training?
I like the $200 and $500 option. I think for doing like nutrition consultations, like maybe that can be closer to 500, or also like you said with the Zoom, just watching them through Zoom, like how they're training and giving them feedback in real time. That could be like maybe closer to 500, and then like something very simplistic can be $200.
I like that actually, like the 2 to 5, like, because I think 5, it's like,
Yeah.
they seem like a lot, but like I could be like, yeah, we could do weekly Zoom workouts. Like, I would really love that, So I would tell them like, hey, we're gonna go over your nutrition, and it's gonna be like very in depth. It's not just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna send you this. And I mean, is it fine if I tell them like, look, like I know a lot of trainers that will give you like a cookie cutter plan, or just don't even say that.
Don't work yourself up. I think that two numbers. I like the 2 to 500. I think that's great. And then worst case scenario, you have in your back pocket. Okay, Sebastian, here's what I can do. I can just send you a month program. It's $100, but you don't get interaction with me. I'll check in with you once a month. That's it. So I think that I cannot stress enough for trainers.
Tú pasaste el día entero en tu vaina. Ahora quiere estar
Ooh, Angela's going off. We got the Angela version today.
Sorry.
It's okay. So when I cannot stress enough for new trainers to just go through the repetition, because then you get so much more confidence. And when I was at the Lobster, if you guys have never been to the Lobster in Santa Monica, this was one of the first years I was in Santa Monica, and this was like one of the higher end spots. It's right over the pier. And I was there drinking, talking to the bartender, and I kind of started becoming buddies with them. And there was this lady, and she was at the far left, and she was drinking some high-end whiskey. I like whiskey, but I didn't know what high-end whiskey was. And when she went to the restroom, I was talking to him. I've never heard that whiskey before. What the hell is she drinking? And it was $76 a drink. And I was just like, holy shit. And she's had 3 of these. And so when she came back, she said, oh, I heard you were a trainer. And, I was curious about, your pricing and stuff. And so this is someone who can afford $76 drinks. And I just threw it out there. And I was definitely nervous when I said it, but it's like, you got to be tough and you got to be kind of cocky, right? And I said, well, I own 3 gyms. I've written a book. How much do you think I charge? And she said, oh, you're probably between $750 to $1,000 an hour. And I was like, yep, that's what I charge. And I was like, holy shit. My mind was like, oh, I charge, because I charge $200 an hour. Like, that's a lot. But in her mind, $750 to $1,000. There's people out there. You have to realize that it's almost like you have to think about, you're going to be working with these folk who are used to paying thousands and thousands of dollars for these high-end trainers. The average celebrity trainer who doesn't have the credentials, they have a simple certification with the right connections, $350 an hour. Those are the ones that are working with the celebrities, like type B celebrities, and when you get up to like the high-end ones. These are folk that just look the part. And that's why so many people want to become trainers, is they hear these stories like, oh, I want to charge $350 an hour. That sounds like easy to do, but there's trainers out there that do that. This morning we looked at the dog pound. The average trainer there charges between $150 to $200 per hour. This is like the top. Chandler, you're on mute. These are like you have to go off mute if you want to talk. The dog pound is like one of the high-end spots for training. So keep that in mind.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna mention that because Ben, he was in the WeHo location the other day, and we were talking about, like, I wanted to see if they actually put their price, like what their charge, and they do. But it's like, I know some person said that a lot of the trainers there are just like training so many people for free there, just to get more like the models, like just advertising their gym. But yeah, it said that their lowest tier, I think, is like like you said, what, $170 per session or something. But you have to buy like 72 sessions for that. So I'm like, what? Yeah. But it's like, this is for a month. So it's like, when you really think about it, like, that's per session. Like, this is per month. So I don't get why I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I think the big takeaway that we're going to have from today's little online thing is, there's a lot of opportunity to make supplemental income from the online world. Training one-on-one, you can make a boatload of money. You can make a boatload of money online as well. But when you give that service, you're really going to separate yourself from the other trainers that are out there. Have 2 options. Have differences in those options. I like to do one with nutrition, one without nutrition. Remember, we can't do food logs. We're not dietitians. You're going to get a macro breakdown. I want to look at your food. As you get more comfortable going through these sales calls, you should absolutely get them to commit at the end of the call. So by the end of the call with Sebastian, you present those two, and then you ask him how he wants to pay for it. And then you can have him, you can send him a Venmo link, you can send him a PayPal link, you can take the information over the phone with a credit card.
And you just say that, okay, I'll have it ready for you in like 24 hours, right? Or
yeah, I'd say for the week program, give me 24 hours and I'll send you what it's going to look like starting on. So if you meet with him tomorrow, which is Tuesday, I'll have Wednesday's workout for you within 24 hours. What are some questions that you guys have about online programming? This was kind of an ad hoc class today with going over this, but what are some questions you guys have?
How you do an assessment online when you have a client?
Yep. So you're just going to ask, you're going to go through a PAR-Q, which is physical activity readiness questionnaire. And you're going to ask open-ended questions. So if Sebastian was on here, I'm on the phone. Hey, Sebastian, how's it going? So we're going to go through a quick little review of your medical history. I want to learn more about what you're trying to achieve, anything I should be concerned about, any injuries. And then we'll talk about a program that suits your goals, and then we'll talk about pricing. So you set those expectations in the beginning, and then you're just going to ask a lot of open-ended questions. Jared is going to go over our assessment that we have at Show Up Fitness on Thursday at 4 o'clock, maybe it'll be at 4:30. He's done a great job of modifying that, and he has continuing questions after it. So it's like each one's going to lead into the next question. So I like to start it off just by telling me more about your goals. What are you trying to achieve? And then you want to ask some questions about any injuries that you have, anything that I should be concerned about, anything in the past that has acted up. I like to ask kind of some fun questions, such as if you could have a genie pop out of a lamp and give you one perfect body part, what would it be? Do you have any family history of heart disease or anything that I should be aware of? You're going to be surprised. As long as you ask open-ended questions, your clients are going to tell you everything. That first call, you're probably going to get by just saying, hey, Sebastian, how's it going? Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to achieve from some online programming and what are some of your goals? He's going to talk for 10 minutes straight. Oh, I have diabetes and I'm doing this and I've done this and I've done that. And they just go off on tangents. And so take really good notes. That's really important to do. And then repeat the information that they tell you. What are some other questions you guys have?
I don't have a question, but I was just going to chime in. Chandler, so I'm new to the training world, but I have but I have a different day job and I do okay financially. If I was serious about getting in great shape and you said it was $20, I actually wouldn't buy it because I think you were no good. I would. They were like, there's something wrong that you're only charging $20 for this service. So there are people out there that are going to be like price snobs that you want to pay. You want good service, so you're willing to pay for it.
That's great. That's great advice, Brandon. Thank you. And I think just to add on that, you're going to experience more of what Brandon said than what your mind thinks.
mm-hmm.
What are some other questions you guys have?
Well, do you think it's okay, like, to ask him though, like what his preference is, like if he wants weekly workouts or a month, or you just say like what I would do? Like, I'm gonna give you.
When you ask a lot of kind of hypothetical questions like that, it almost sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. And so, because then he's gonna be thinking like, well, I'm coming to you, so you let him know how you do it. And so you tell him, this is how I do it. It's week to week. If he were to say, is there any way I can get it a month in advance? That's a conversation to go off if he said that. But when you just think about it, like you go to a doctor and he's like, maybe we can do this or maybe we can do that. I don't know about this. Maybe we can do this or that. It's not very reassuring. So it's like you need to let him know that you are the professional. He's in great hands. Be very direct on the flow of things, and this is how you do it. Just like with a session, as you've done many times before. Imagine if you were to ask your client, like, oh, do you want to do bench press next, or do you want to do some pull downs? Or maybe if you like, we could go for a little walk. Maybe we could go for a run. They're going to be like, what do you mean? Like, I'm coming to you. You got to take charge of that.
I have a question. So I know like I'm kind of going through this too, but what would you do like if a client like had no access to a gym and they had like minimal access to like stuff in their house or like a park nearby? So pretty much like I gave up my gym because they're not really following COVID regulations. So I'm working out at my house and at the park right now for 2 weeks. So I've been trying to come up with like a good workout routine, as well as like I'm kind of like thinking, since I want to serve clients who have access to a gym or who don't have access to a gym, and primarily like with body weight. So I guess like I'm curious to know like what would you recommend for like body weight routines that have like minimal to no access with like maybe like some bands but not like dumbbells or anything,
Yeah.
but they have like a pull-up bar at the park.
Yeah, so we still go off the patterns of movement. We got to push, pull, squat, hinge, unilateral. I would probably separate it with body weight. You can do more consecutively because you don't have the load. You're not going to create as much damage unless you do a lot of volume. So I would
Right.
probably do full body workouts every other day and then have a cardio in between. And so I like to, a client I'm working with right now, she does these long bike rides on the weekend. And so I have her, like yesterday, I had her run a mile as fast as she could and I had her send me that time. And then the next time she did that workout, she has two options. She can run that mile faster or she can run 2 miles. I won't go past about 3 to 4 unless you enjoy the long distance cardio. So I'll play between 1, 2, and 3. And that's just, it's a periodization as well. I'm going to progressively overload via distance as well as intensity. So for the cardio ones, let's say Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. On Tuesday, we run 1 mile. On Thursday, we run 2 miles. And on Saturday, we're going to run 1 mile. We're going to do a bunch of push-ups between. We're going to rest 5 minutes, and then we're going to run mile, run as fast as you can, do the same thing, and then we're going to run 1 more mile. So we're running spurts of 1. So then I'm just going to play around with that for months to come. And then for the resistance / body weight days, I'm going to find out what we can do. So if I'm working with you, Greg, I'm going to say, I want you to send me a video of your body weight squats. I want to see reverse lunges. I want to see pull-ups. I want to see push-ups, and film them for a minute, how many you can do. And then you're going to send me that data. I'm not going to design your programs until I see those videos because I want to see what you're capable of doing. One of the girls, perfect example, her name's Shilpa, and she said that her push-ups are pretty good. I said, great. How many can you do? She said she can do 13. I said, awesome. Send me a video of you doing the 13. And when she was doing them, she was at a T and she's coming halfway down. So I'm not going to program based off of those half-ass push-ups. So then I put in my story. I said, here's one of my online clients. She's trying to get better with her push-ups. This is what I want you to do. So I had her do the whole eccentric and then just worm her way back up. And that's what we're focusing on right now. So I had her do the same thing with pull-ups. And then I'll check out body weight squats and reverse lunges. And then, planking is going to be the ab work we're going to do, anterior, lateral planks. And those are pretty much the exercise that we're going to do. And we're just going to focus on more volume. We'll do them in circuits. So maybe day 1 on Monday, it's more leg dominant. So we start out on lunges, and then we do push-ups, and then we do body weight squats, and then we do planks, and then we do bridges, and then we do jumping jacks, and then we do side planks. You rest however long you need, and you do it again for 3 rounds. And then on Wednesday, we'll do a more upper body emphasis. So we'll start with push-ups, and then we go squats, and then we go more push-ups, and then we go lunges, more push-ups into planks. And then we'll do that for 4 or 5 rounds. And every time I check in with them to see how sore they are, if they're not that sore, I can always change up tempo, have them go down slower, go up slower as well. So there's a lot of different factors that we can play around with when it comes to fit. So frequency, intensity, time, and type. Those are the 4 things that I'm constantly changing up. And if you have little accessories like bands, those are great things just to add in there.
Got it. So it would be kind of like one day would be like pull, and then like another day would be push, and then like legs would be like a separate day as well, and it would be like 4 days a week.
Yeah, but with that being said, I'm going to do all of those every single day, just because I'm not creating a lot of damage by doing a body weight squat. You can do a set of 50 body weight squats, and it's not like we need to take a week off from them. So I would emphasize one of the patterns and just do more of those sets, but I'm still going to be doing the other patterns. So we're going to do squats, we're going to do push-ups, we're going to do pull-ups, we're going to do bridges, but the emphasis would just have more of those sets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because pretty much you said like we have to kind of go until fatigued with body weight if we want to really put on muscle.
Yep, that's tough, but it's
Yeah.
possible. Mhm. And if you get some, I mean, more advanced, you can throw in some jumps. You're going to get some guys that can do, if you can do more than 20, 25 push-ups at one time, I want you to do one arm push-ups, even if you just work on the eccentrics. So you can make it challenging. You just have to get kind of creative with the environment.
Right. I think one arm push-ups has been like my biggest challenge.
Good.
I've been
Keep
trying
on doing
those for a while.
Nice. And then just do the same thing with single leg bridges and pistol squats, and just keep on incorporating those.
Okay.
What are some other questions you guys have about online programming, presenting with prices, or anything along those lines? Going once. Chandler, anything else?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just try the 200.
To 500. Okay.
But you said just the 200 was to be a monthly program and no check-ins, just that's it. Right?
I would
just
say
give him-
weekly. I'll give them weekly check-ins.
Oh, okay. And progress pictures too?
The more that he changes, the more you can put out there. Because right now, all you got is your frumpy face and that one where you're grumpy when you're overweight, and then you go through you have one of the best transformation photos. Like your face looks so mad in your first one, but then you have your transformation when you do bikini prep and you look great. But why not start getting some clients? That's what you need. If you have clients that go through the transformation, that's what people are going to start signing up for. So I want progress photos. I want pictures of him, photos of videos of him doing push-ups and bodyweight squats. And if he has access to the equipment at the gym, send me 3 videos of whatever you think. You choose the one.
So you think it would just be just weekly check-ins and just a monthly program, and that would be it? Like no
The
nutrition?
$500 one is going to be nutritional consultations. You're going to get 2 of them. So we'll do every 2 weeks. And then also you get 2 Zoom workouts with you. So you actually take him through that workout, and you have a leg day and an upper body day. But I would give him 2 of those workouts so they can see, like, okay, so not very hands-on, very hands-on.
Can I give my 2 cents?
Yep.
So I don't do any online coaching, but a few months ago, I looked around for just things for myself. And what I found was anywhere, I mean, 250 was the minimum, and that was nutrition only. I'm paying 150 now for nutrition only. And I mean, I even saw in upwards of 2,500 just for workouts only. So if that helps you at all, like, you know, ask around, look at some other sites and just pretend you're a customer and see what people are charging.
So you're just paying 150 solely for nutrition?
Yeah, I am. And I have to take photos every 2 weeks. I have weekly check-ins, questions, couple Zoom calls a month.
Do you feel like that's worth it?
It has been, because it gave me the accountability, and I know what to do, but for the length of time to do it, I was never disciplined to do that. And so just to have somebody checking in on me, it's invaluable, and it's getting me to my goals. So
how many people are on those calls?
Oh, it's just individual.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
When they said, did somebody reach out to you and call you, or you just signed up like on an app and then they just gave you, or they told you on the phone what the price was?
No, I just heard about the company and inquired myself when I was poking around looking. So I just found them on my own, just kind of based on recommendations.
Yeah.
And I think everyone on here can do a little poll from your own followers. And you can just do a simple one. Who in here's bought a program online? And just have a yes or no. If they put yes, reach out to them. Say, I'm really curious. What did you pay for it?
Yeah, you could totally do that.
And then that's your SWOT analysis, essentially. And then you got to look at who your followers are, Chandler, because if your followers are typically, 19 to 30, and then you talk to someone who's in their 40s, it's going to be a little different. So there's a lot of analytics to go through. but this is part of the fun of learning about that market. So as you grow, you want to be able to be providing the highest end service, and you have that capability to be doing it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? So tomorrow, 5 o'clock, we'll get into back to case examples, and we'll go through what those programs will look like. I will keep you guys updated with what Chandler, how she does tomorrow, and we will go from there. No failing, Chandler. I expect 500, and I want 20% of it.
Okay.
All right, guys and girls, have a great rest of the night. We'll see you tomorrow.
You can do it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
There you go. You got
Good
some
luck.
fans. There you go. Nice.
You got this. You got it.
And I appreciate you all.
See ya.